Back on the SportsMax Zone, the Soca Warriors went down 2-0 to El Salvador on Wednesday in the CONCACAF Gold Cup at the Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. Jairo Enriquez and Walmer Martinez scored for the Central Americans. TNT's interim head coach Angus Eve says his team was unfortunate.
Disappointed in the result, obviously, but I think a lot of encouragement in the performance of the team last night, playing against one of the teams who would have qualified proper for the Gold Cup, and you know, probably they were a bit fresher than us in the first half. It showed, and I thought much improved performance in the second half, and probably we deserve to get a little bit more out of the game, but it augurs well for the work that we've been doing in a very short space of time, and encouragement for the future. First half, we tried to keep the game as tight as possible, and unfortunately, I thought we got a goal that wasn't was a really soft goal, and then in the second half, we really opened up the game, and I thought that we had a lot more possession, we had a lot more chances, and unfortunately, we gave away a soft goal again. But you know, maybe he saw the game that way. But against Mexico, yeah, we were defensive, but I could not say that in this particular match.
Now, Wednesday's result means that El Salvador are through to the quarterfinals. For the Soca Warriors, they must win their final group game and then hope that El Salvador beat Mexico to have a chance of reaching the last 8. Mexico beat Guatemala 3-0 at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas on Wednesday and need only a point from their clash with El Salvador to progress to the last 8. Brent Sancho gets ready to join us now for the discussion on what happened with TNT last night. You just heard Angus Eve feeling disappointed that the team didn't get more out of the game based on the run of play. Solid points by Angus?
Yeah, hey Lance, and of course, hello to all your viewers. Yeah, you could see some bit of validity in what he said, but I think all in all, when you look at the overall performance, you looked at the fact that I think El Salvador was a lot more clinical with their possession, and more importantly, they were able to possess the football a lot more than Trinidad and Tobago. If you were to go on the balance of play, I would say El Salvador was deserving of their victory. I must say, though, Lance, the improvement, the huge improvement we've seen in the team, and I'm not just, we're not talking football here, we're talking about the pride, the passion, the tactical discipline, the playing with a bit more resolute than we have played before. It's certainly been an improvement from what we saw from the previous coach, and that alone has made a lot of fans in Trinidad and Tobago happy. But on the pitch yesterday, it was a disappointing result, and I would suggest that it was a disappointing result coming off the back of a strong Mexico performance and an even stronger performance against Montserrat.
Yeah, just having a look at the goals there, and I can understand what Angus is saying, but you are right. For long periods in the game, El Salvador were pretty solid, and we have to consider that in Central America, certainly the El Salvador League had been continuing for months during the COVID-19 break. A lot of countries here in the Caribbean would not have had the value of local football and so on. So they have started from a kind of a minus position, and credit to TNT that they are where they are now, given what has happened in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of conversation regarding the fitness of the team and fatigue within the team because of the lack of football here in Trinidad and Tobago. But that squad that took part last night in the game against El Salvador, the starting 11 had 9 starters that ply their trade outside of the country. So, fitness, it's not really a major concern as it relates to why we did not get the result. I've gone a bit deeper than that, Lance, and I would suggest that I think we did not do what we were supposed to do to win that football game, and one of which was to be able to possess the football. If you are to beat these Central American teams, first of all, you have to beat their high press, and you have to be brave on the football. Similar to what we spoke about in Jamaica's outing against Suriname, it's very similar to Trinidad and Tobago. They were not able to possess the football to take the compartments of the team up the pitch and of course attack in a meaningful way. And that's the reason why we ended up losing the football game. You have to be a lot braver in possession if you have to have any chance against beating these teams, particularly from Central America.
Definitely, Brent. In the first half, we were not firing at all. It's as if, the TNT players were lost. Did you get the sense as if in the second half, Angus Eve made the necessary adjustments?
Well, I think he had to make the adjustments. The first half was disjointed. It lacked tempo. We played very defensively, although I know Angus would say he did not, but he did in terms of his lineup and the way they approached the game. Once they made the changes of Ryan Moore and Marcus Joseph at the halfway point, two attackers, Ryan Moore, of course, a strong striker that has a lot of pace, and Joseph, a tricky customer, we did start to see a bit more activity in front of the goal, but it never negated the fact that we were still poor in possession. And as I said, when you look at the chances that we had, they were not really from built up of play, from a team possessing and moving up through the pitch. And I think that is why we struggled, as I said. And despite the fact that he may have changed tactically the way he approached the game, and rightfully so, he had to because we needed a result, I still think that the little things that I mentioned that we should have done from the start is one of the reasons why we ended up losing that football game.
So as we look forward where the Gold Cup is concerned, would you say that Trinidad and Tobago's hopes are bleak? Because of course we have Mexico beating Guatemala 3-0 and all they need is to get a draw against El Salvador.
Well, the hope is that, of course, El Salvador beats Mexico, and there's no one in that El Salvador camp is going to tell me that they're not going to rest players. They will. They'll be silly if they don't. And Mexico will obviously try to get maximum points. And I can't see Mexico having two blunts on their record so far. Of course, the first one being against Trinidad and Tobago where they tied, and then coming up against El Salvador and falling short. So, yes, I do think it's bleak, but this was never about Trinidad and Tobago moving out to the group stages. It was really about turning things around. And what we have seen so far during the Gold Cup in Angus Eve's tenure, I think he has a lot to be proud of. As I said, he's taken the team from a very toxic atmosphere and brought them into something that is positive. And again, seeing the boys fight with pride for that red, white, and black.
As I hear you analyzing the game, Brent, and I'm agreeing with the points you're making, and I'm saying that one of the things that struck me in the Mexico game, I was saying to myself, and I was screaming at the TV, because I'm saying just a little bit more composure in defense from TNT in making the pass out, so you could transition into attack with a better pass. I think the game was there for the taking, for a fast break opportunity. But as you saw, man wins possession on the end of the box, boom, he just clears his lines and waits for the next wave of attack to come. And the man wins the ball in midfield and he just hits a long pass, hopeless. There was never that composure in the transition. And I said to myself, well, when it is that it's not backs against the wall defending, which they did so very well against Mexico, which was what was required, when it is that you have to be creative now, you have to set the tempo, you have to take the initiative. I'm wondering if I will see that crop up again in the El Salvador game. And that's basically what we saw, the lack of composure on the ball. And then that first pass out of defense is usually a poor pass or puts the receiver in a tight situation where he's not yet ready to receive because he's not yet transitioned from the attacking phase from the defensive phase to the attacking phase. Those are the things which undermined TNT against El Salvador. And I felt as if, well, your expectations are too high. You should take your time. Remember, qualifying is not the objective. But I was still disappointed, Brent, because the failings against Mexico offensively were the failings against El Salvador last night.
Look, anyone that's honest and live on this island here as it relates to football and this group and crop of footballers, one of the things that keeps coming out as it relates to, of course, identifying some of the challenges and some of the deficiencies with this group is just what you mentioned, being brave on the football. If you want to play international football, if you want to play at the top level, winning games at the CONCACAF Gold Cup levels, and of course doing well in World Cup qualifiers, you have to be brave in possession. That means exactly what you said. Your transition from winning the football and now starting to build your attack means that you will have to at least string together 3-4 passes and be brave in keeping the football, moving it around, and then positioning yourself to attack. That is what has killed Trinidad and Tobago football for quite some time. We've seen it many times against top opposition. who decides to press us very high up the park. That's what El Salvador do. That's a lot of the Central American teams do. And if you're not brave in your possession, you're going to cough the ball up and bring pressure right back on yourself. And that's exactly what we saw last night.
Yeah, treating the ball like a grenade sometimes, TNT. Anyway, let's see what happens and hope for the best in that final group game, Brent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Break time. The